It's AlvinMunk here with Inky News, and this week we have Sean Crisden. What's an ink demon?
That's me, I think. Or I ink.
I like that. And we have a couple of questions. Well, a bunch of questions. You know what I mean. We have a lot of questions. Not a lot. We have like 20-something questions to go through. So let's hop into it.
Let's do it.
All right. So first, can you give us a little bit of background about yourself before you got into voice acting? Any other hobbies you had as well?
Yeah, I always pretty much made funny voices, so it was a natural transition there. But prior to voice acting, martial arts, played a lot of guitar and sing. I played in a band for almost 10 years, and lots of video games, as it turns out. Surprise! I know, everybody's very shocked by this. And then I did some on-camera work, commercials. I was in a film that should not be mentioned that rhymes with the past Schmer Fender. And that was when I started to make the shift to just doing voice work.
Nice. And that's very interesting that you were in a band. Let's see. Next question is, at what age I know you mentioned this kind of, but at what age did you discover your passion for voice acting or just acting in general?
Since I was a wee lad. Since I always basically made a lot of funny voices, and sometimes serious. Usually they ended up being funny because I was terrible at it. And I was the kid that loved in school, in elementary school, and who wants to read the book to the class? And I loved doing that because I could read the book and make funny voices.
Yeah.
And that was, for me, that was strange because I was a really shy kid, very introverted. I'm still an introverted adult. So, but that was something that I always looked forward to. So that was probably a sign that my path would align the way that it has.
Yeah. I would say it has, because this one's a tough one, I'm guessing, because everyone else had a tough time answering this based on previous interviews. What was your favorite voice job you've ever had? Voiceover job?
Oh wow, yeah, that is a tough one. There's probably a few of them for different reasons. If we talk about just the sheer amount of fun had in a session, it's probably either when I did La France for American Dad, or I played a mosquito on the upcoming Tiny Toons University, who was a throwback to the Lost Boys, and I may or may not have based a lot of that character on Kiefer Sutherland in The Lost Boys. So that one was a lot of fun. In fact, it was so much fun that in that session, the director was laughing, and everybody else was, we were all laughing over what I was doing with this mosquito. And I was instructed to dial it back a little bit because it might have been a little too schmexy for the content for that show. So that was a lot of fun. And yeah, working with the folks on American Dad is just funny, and they let me do whatever I want, which is always a mistake because I can get kind of crazy. And seeing what actually made it into the episode versus the stuff I did is always fun. But of course, the Ink Demon was a blast as well for me because I think that was the first role I had where it was such a well-known, dare I say, iconic antagonist in a series.
Yeah.
So that was fun to play. And since he had never previously been given a voice, but existed in canon, obviously, the approach to building his voice and the character was a whole lot of fun. So that was, man, was that 2 years ago? Maybe. I don't know. I'm terrible at time and I don't remember anything. So anything, I always have the disclaimer that anything I say to you may be a lie. Since I don't remember, but that with Lauren Singer was the voice director for that. Amazing. Lauren's amazing. And who you also may know as Alice Angel. But that was, those sessions were a blast too. I think the thing is that in voice acting in general for me, especially when I'm doing character work for animation or games, I try to go into the session and have a ton of fun. So most of my sessions are a blast. It's very rare that I have a session where I come out and, oh, that was terrible. Everything sucks. So part of how I approach it, both professionally and in terms of just who I am, is I want to have a lot of fun. I want everybody on the session to have a lot of fun. So most of them end up being great fun and a lot of my favorite sessions. It sounds ridiculous to say that, but I think it's pretty accurate.
Nice. I'm actually very excited for the Tiny Toons reboot, so I'm glad you're on that.
It's great.
I'll listen to your voice for it.
It's hilarious, actually. They did great work. The writers are doing great work on it, so I'm excited for it too because I was a big Tiny Toons fan for its original run. So yeah,
I was always more of an Animaniacs kid, but I'm very excited for both.
Animaniacs was good. Was the natural extension of that, where they leaned into a lot of the classic Warner Brothers, Warner Brothers would skirt the line, in their earlier animations between it's a cartoon, it's for kids, but having a lot of material that appealed to adults, sometimes in a subtle way, sometimes in a not so subtle way. So Animaniacs was a great way to bridge that gap as well. So also a big Animaniacs fan.
Always great to hear another Animaniacs fan.
There was a point in time when I could do the 50 States song. I can't do it anymore. But, had it committed to memory.
That would have been interesting, especially to hear the Ink Demon do it. That'd be funny.
Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe I should revive that, and that'll be some new content.
Speaking of cartoons, we got favorite cartoon character and why, and the favorite video game character and why for the next 2 questions.
Good questions. Favorite cartoon character. And see, here's another disclaimer. This shows you how prepared I am. I said, hey, can you send me some of the questions? I'll just look down and see, and I'll so I don't sit there and go, well, in this case, I'm going to go, because I read through them and I'm saying, okay, nothing's asking me where the bodies are buried, so I think it's okay. But favorite cartoon and favorite video game characters, I'd have to say, oh man, yeah, that's a good one. Because let's see, I'm going to try to give you an answer. Usually I say I don't know, blah blah blah, but I'm gonna commit here for everyone. Favorite video game character. I'm gonna go with Claptrap from Borderlands 1 and 2. Because I never laughed as much for a game character. I mean, it's close between Claptrap and Tiny Tina, actually, who I forget the voice actress's name. In Borderlands 2 was absolutely perfect and hilarious. But I think it might be Claptrap because I still quote Claptrap a lot, and my wife is probably tired of me doing that. And actually, I did Awesome Knots. There was an Awesome Knots tutorial where they wanted, it's a robot, and I was cast for it, and they said just kind of make it claptrappy. And I said, oh, really? I can. So that's a nod to Claptrap in a way, but probably Claptrap because he's so just stupid, but entertaining. I like that kind of stuff. But for animation, if my favorite animation, if I said a Disney villain who is Frollo in Hunchback of Notre Dame, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, hopefully people won't think that I'm just a sinister ghoul, but it's probably, if it's not Frollo for that amazing song, Hellfire, since he was so conflicted between, should I entice myself with this gypsy or should he stay true to his faith, that whole piece of drama within that. Or it's another Disney villain, Jafar, who was simply so deliciously evil that, and he had the greatest laugh of all Disney villains, especially at the end of the one Prince Ali song he did. I can't remember that voice actor's name either. Yeah. But probably between the two of them in terms of animation and characters, just because I loved how wonderfully evil Jafar was. And Frollo was conflicted between his faith and his natural instinctive human desires for Esmeralda. Yes,
I think so.
Disney fans, correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a minute, but and I liked that when I watched Hunchback again as an adult. That really stuck with me about him. So I was like, oh, this is, there's some layers to this, and he's not just evil for the sake of being evil, which we see in, is a pretty tired trope for a lot of things of just, well, they're just evil and they just want to destroy everything. I'll get you, G.I. Joe. This. Why though? What's your motivation? What makes you, So having characters that are a bit more fleshed out and a little more multidimensional, which I felt he was. Unlike Jafar, he's just an evil guy looking for power, as most of us are. But yeah, those would be my answers.
Great answers. Hunchback Notre Dame is such an underrated movie. I love that movie.
For sure. Great soundtrack. And nobody really talks about it when they talk about, especially when you're thinking of that golden age of the Disney Renaissance. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's definitely up there. Aladdin is one of my favorites, though. Just
Aladdin's such a good movie.
Oh, super good. And I have a soft spot for The Emperor's New Groove.
Oh my God, another underrated one. Oh my God.
Oh, come on. Yzma and Kronk are such a great duo, and I'm so sad that they cut Yzma's best song when they changed the plot of the film. So anybody that's an Emperor's New Groove fan, you can find it in most places. I think it's on YouTube, definitely on Spotify because it's in one of my playlists. Yzma has a song called Snuff Out the Light that was cut from the final film that's sung by the amazing Eartha Kitt. And that was when the plot line basically went along. She was attempting to destroy the sun, to bring on an age of eternal darkness. So, but her song is about that. And it's a fantastic song. So, yeah, any Emperor's New Groove fans, check it out. But that was absolutely one of my favorites. I can watch that again and again.
I watched it for the first time like a couple of years ago. I'm so bummed I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it like before then. Such a great movie.
Oh, it's super good, and very self-aware and satirical of, sort of some meta elements within it. So it was just one of the films that I feel like, again, flew under the radar for a lot of people, but was just so good, well conceived, well written, well acted. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah. Now we're diving into the Bendy questions. So we got to get knee deep into the Bendy questions.
That's right. Right into the ink, into the puddles.
Yep. How does it feel to be a part of the Bendy series and fandom?
It's terrible. No, it's actually fantastic. Bendy has such a wonderful, welcoming fandom. And what I like is that everyone is very present and involved, and there's artwork and there's music, and even we as the voice cast, we try to do the love streams and to interact as much as we can, to give back. And it's just so awesome. I've never been involved in a fandom as wonderful as the Bendy fandom. So it is awesome. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It's lit.
It's such a good fandom.
It really is.
I'm happy to be a part of it. I've been here since since basically the beginning, when between chapter 1 and 2's release of the first game. It's about March of 2017. I've been here.
Nice.
So
well, that's awesome. So you're old guard for it, because you're right around that time, and everything is always kept very positive for the most part, but it's just such a great group of folks that I'm really glad to be a part of it.
I'm glad you're a part of it too, Sean.
Woo!
I cannot see any. I'm gonna be honest. I cannot see anyone else doing the voice of Ink Demon. It's such exclusive voice you did, and I thought you had like special effects for it, because it sounds like. But you've done on multiple love streams. You just do it like on the whim. It's like so amazing.
Just turn it on. Well, it's funny because when I got the audition, and I said, "Oh, okay, the Ink Demon." I knew of Bendy and the Ink Machine. I had seen it. I think it was on my Steam wish list, but I'd never played it.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "Oh, I think I've heard of this game." And okay, it's a demon, and it's his first time having a voice. And I did a little bit of digging, and I said, "Okay, well, ink and bubbly and gurgly," and I thought of something and came up and sent it in. And then I think it was Lauren who ended up getting back to me saying, "Can you send it in without the effects?" And I said, "Well, what effects?" That's it, baby. That's what I do, So I think a lot of folks thought that initially, outside of when you hear it in the game where there's some reverb added. Oh, I see. I need some plushes. I have the original Ink Demon toy, the action figure from Bendy and the Ink Machine, but I got to get some of the new ones and some U2s. But so folks were just saying, "Oh, well, there must be effects on it." So in the game, there's reverb and it's compressed a bit. And I think I added a little bit of delay in terms of the post-processing, but all the Ink Demoning is generally just me. That's how I wake up in the morning.
Oh, what a wonderful day. It's like the voice of Ink Demon. It's like, oh, what a wonderful day. It opens the curtains.
Yeah. And it's bright and sunny, and today is going to be a good day. And you,
yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah, but also I'm happy that, like, you were mentioning about how you need more Ink Demon stuff before we move on to the next question. I know you said U2s, but like Jack Pacific is a toy company. They're making Bendy stuff. I think they announced it on the Twitter like a month ago during Comic-Con. They're making new stuff, so I'm very excited.
Oh boy.
I mention this like every interview, I swear. I always collect like Jack Pacific's like Mario and Sonic figures. So I'm very excited to see how those Bendy ones turn out.
Oh yeah, I'll keep an eye out for it then and see what they end up coming up with.
They said by next year at their Comic-Con panel, but
nice.
Yeah, like early next year they said, I think.
Yeah, all right. Then that's one I'll actually make a note to keep my peepers peeped for it.
I think they might show something off a Toy Fair, but that's just me speculating now, putting the tin hat on. Anyway,
right.
Let's see. Next question we got. You answered that one. Actually, I don't think you answered this one.
Ooh.
How did you come up with the voice of the Ink Demon?
Well, that was basically digging into the Bendy universe a little bit and seeing what came before in terms of, okay, who is this Ink Demon fellow? What does he do? And then trying to conceptualize, well, what would he sound like? This entity made of ink who is quite sinister. And I hadn't seen the script, and I didn't know the plot for the second game yet. But just based off of Ink Machine, what would it be like? So it's sort of, I just sat and ruminated a bit, and then
Mhm.
that's what came out. So, something guttural, but somewhat alluring, a level of sensuality to it, but real juicy at times, as we would
Yeah,
imagine something speaking that was composed of liquid, ink, would sound. So that was pretty much my thought process for it, and fortunately, it worked out. I usually joke and say, "Well, I tried the original voice of it's me, the Ink Demon," and that didn't work, so nobody liked that. So then we tried something else. But yeah, we settled on that.
that's what makes it so iconic too.
Mm.
Um, let's see. Next question is. Oh, oh, here we go. We're trying to get into some of the like more juicy questions.
Oh,
And
juicy.
if you like, oh, first we got a hypothetical question.
Mhm.
If you could voice act for any non-Bendy game, like a project game that worked on, what would it be?
Mhm.
Like any upcoming game, or just a game in general,
Hmm.
past thing, like any character.
You know, I I always wanted to provide character voices in a basically like a Bethesda Softworks game. So I was a big fan of Elder Scrolls and uh, things like or BioWare. Any of the BioWare games. 'Cause I would that's what I played a lot of. The Star Wars and Jade Empire and
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of other BioWare titles now that I enjoyed. But and I always wanted to be in one of those games. That was my goal before I really got cooking in my career. And now to consider that question, like what game would I like to be a voice in? I honestly have to say I don't know because a lot of games have their voice talent, and especially when they're
Yeah,
recurring talent, and we associate them as the voice of the characters in the game or in that
yeah,
series or in that game world. So I don't know which I would be a part of outside of introducing new characters.
yeah,
And and we have a lot of games that have seasons and new characters come along. And originally I thought, oh, well, I'd like to be in Call of Duty or something. And then I was cast in Call of Duty and Call of Duty Mobile. And
hmm.
so I did a COD character. um, but I don't know. It's a question where I say, well, it would have to be a character that would be a new character because I wouldn't necessarily want to don the mantle and wear the shoes that somebody else wore because then you have those inevitable comparisons and then I
Yeah,
like going in fresh, much like with the Ink Demon, and say, well, what can I create and come up with for this?
yeah. That's very understandable.
So it's and I'm not a great mimic, so I don't mimic or do voice matching very well. So I'm usually just crazy enough to fly off the handle and do my own thing. But to say what game or any game that will have me, I'll do it. Just let me know. Um, it's more along the lines of that. I don't really
Yeah,
have one where I said, "Boy, I wish I was in this." Outside of from a purely commercial and financial standpoint of some successful franchises, said, "Boy, I wish I was the main character in that." You know, but in terms of creativity, I just basically take it as it comes, whatever comes my way. So I haven't actually
yeah.
yearned for another talent's role yet.
We'll have to keep an eye out for one that hits.
That's
um,
right. That's right.
and then we got one more. Oh, we're gonna jump back and forth a little bit. We got another. Like,
Sure.
these are all bendy questions, but
Hey, that's fine by me.
what is your favorite scene in Dark Revival? You can talk about a spoiler scene. So, by the way, spoilers if you haven't played the game yet, which is for everyone in these interviews. But
Spoilers. It's funny because the one that hit me the most was the introduction of the Ink Demon because I knew what happened. Obviously, read the scripts, right? So had an idea
yeah,
of how it went. But when you play the game and when you're playing the game, and as I imagine it, as someone who wasn't involved in the production of the game would feel as well, and suddenly you hear the voice, and you're like,
yeah,
what is that? And if your subtitles it says Ink Demon or like who? who's that speaking? And they have a voice now. Oh goodness. So it's something that I felt like was just as momentous as the ending of the game or some of the other reveals in the game that naturally progressed with the storyline, largely because playing through the first game, no voice, and now suddenly there's this huge change and shift in characterization of the Ink Demon, who we find isn't necessarily our main antagonist.
Yeah.
So it adds all this additional depth, but now you have this voice too. So that was something that, and not just because, oh, I'm the voice of the Ink Demon, hi. It's not just the self-serving, look, there I
Yeah.
am, but the idea of the shift of the character and the growth to having a voice and then discovering the Ink Demon's role and relation to other characters in the game. So that was I thought that was really cool, and I enjoyed that more than I probably should have. But that was one of my favorite. You're just strolling along, and then dark puddles awaken. And you get that, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, all right, something's happening now. And that gave me a particular delight of watching playthroughs and seeing people's first reactions to it. So, for many reasons, I found just the evolution of the Ink Demon to that moment, the initial moment early game where you first hear that the Ink Demon is speaking and speaking to you, the player, I thought was pretty darn awesome.
It was a great scene. Excuse me. Let's see. Next question we got is do you think this is back to the hypothetical questions now. But there are more lore related ones, I guess you can say. But for you as Sean Crisden, not Think Demon.
Sure.
Do you think you could survive living in the cycle that the game takes place in?
As Sean Crisden. Yeah. Do I have a change of underwear?
If you bring it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'd have to bring a change of underwear because there'd be some soiled trousers, let me tell you. Maybe. I'm pretty spry and fairly intuitive. I could probably make a cycle. Make one cycle. Probably. I don't know. It's because when you think of the question seriously, other than of course I can, look at me, I'm brilliant. But when we think of and all the events that happen, and in the studio, I don't know, would I be gripped with spine-tingling fear and paralyzed? I don't know. I mean, would you hear a keeper and just be like, oh, nope, I'm out, we're done? So in the reality of it, I think I could probably make it. I'm a pretty rational guy. I don't scare easy. But it's much like what I call my ZAST, my zombie apocalypse survival team. So in the hypothetical zombie apocalypse, when I meet people, the first thing I think about is, would you be on my ZAST? Do you bring a skill that I could utilize when the dead inevitably rise and take over the earth to consume human flesh and brains in an unending apocalypse of terror and gore? Well, I think about that a lot. I might need to talk to someone about it. But it's also the kind of thing, is this person level-headed? Are they rational? Do they offer a skill that I can use on the team? So yeah, thinking about, would I be able to survive in the cycle? I would tentatively say yes. As long as I had a solid gent pipe, I could probably make it work.
Yeah, the gent pipe's always handy. No wonder Audrey wanted to grab it. Now, speaking of grabbing stuff, We have two questions to kind of tie together, but I'll say one of them at a time.
Got it.
If you could bring one item with you into the cycle, what would you bring? Like if you could bring anything to help you.
Probably a walkthrough. A walkthrough guide. Barring that, I'd probably have to make my own gent pipe. I think, to like a nice custom that's already upgraded, so you don't have to worry about dealing with the upgrades in the we wouldn't call it the game in the cycle. Yeah, because maybe that would work. Good question. I don't know. What would you bring if you?
I'd probably bring like a weapon of some kind as well.
Probably
like
makes sense.
A melee weapon though, not like a far range. Actually, maybe if you have to bring one like a melee weapon, because you don't have to worry about bringing ammo and stuff.
That's right. So you don't want to run out of ammo. And I default to melee weapons usually in most things that I play. I mean, going all the way back to the original Half-Life, where a crowbar, So I think I have an affinity for melee in most regards of games like that. Well, even if we're talking like D&D, I'm usually some blend of a fighter. So sometimes I'll play ranged for fun. So let's see how this glass cannon works. So but yeah, okay. So I think we'd go with that. I'll go with my custom gent pipe for that.
And then the next question is the opposite of that. What would you, if you could bring one thing with you out to home from the cycle, would it be a creature, item, food, etc.? What would it be?
I would get a can of bacon soup, give it to baby Bendy, and then take baby Bendy with me, because I assume baby Bendy would bring out whatever he's holding on to. So then I get a delicious can of bacon soup and a baby Bender's.
You get a 2-in-1 deal.
That's right. I worked the system.
Then the next question is, if you could tell the Ink Demon one thing, what would you tell
him? That it'll be okay. Just it'll be all right. It'll work itself out. Got a lot of feelings going on there, and that it's just maybe to relax a little bit. The relentless pursuit of everyone and everything, it's a little tiring, and sometimes you need that self-care day. So just relax, go to the Inky spa and get the little mani-pedi done, maybe get some new ink, just throw it that way. But just relax, bro. Just chill out, dude, So I think that's about where we'd go.
That's a very wholesome message to tell him. I love that.
Oh, I'm all about positivity and trying to altruistically help everyone, including the Ink Demon.
Yeah, people need more positive in the world. I'm glad we have people on the Bendy team who are very positive.
We try to be. Sometimes it can be difficult when you look around and see the world around us, but we want to be the change that we seek, as it has been said. So bring a little bit more positivity into the world. It's funny because I'm notoriously social media averse. So every then and again, I pop on to a social media platform and I'll interact, and then I retreat back into my crypt. And this month I started a TikTok account and I started posting TikTok videos. So I said, I'm going to post a TikTok video a day. And a lot of it is just smarmy nonsense that is typical Sean Crisden. But I also try to balance that with healthy doses of self-affirmation, positivity, and what I call basically emotional recharges for people. We go through all of our scrolling and we're looking at all these things that are bombarding us. So in between me being my usual cynical self, there are glimpses of positivity, and things to help boost folks up, because then and again we just need to hear it.
Yeah.
So, and I plan on doing some. Don't tell anyone. This is between you and me. Some Ink Demon stuff on there too. So
Ooh.
if you haven't popped over to TikTok and followed me, then give me a follow and see some of that crap. Did I say crap? Stuff. Some of that stuff. Fun stuff. Very, very rewarding.
Yep. That was my mom popping in the background. Sorry about that.
Hi, Mom.
Sean says hi.
Hi. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You can still hear me okay though, right? Because I just turned the air on. Okay, cool.
No, we can hear you.
Okay, cool.
You sound cooler.
Last couple questions. We have 5 questions left.
Oh, let's do it. I'm here for all of it. I'm here for it.
All right. So, favorite non-Ink Demon quote and favorite Ink Demon quote. That's 2 in 1.
Favorite non-Ink Demon quote.
Mm-hmm.
How about a pretty girl like you shouldn't be wandering around all by yourself. Yeah, just so creepy and just straight up stalky, and we discover why. But that one, it's always the initial impressions of characters I get that stick with me the most. So definitely Wilson. Delivering that, and you're just like, ew, buddy, stop talking to me, man. Just gives you the creeps. Tim did such a great job with him.
Tim did do a great job, yeah.
And what was it? Favorite Ink Demon quote?
Yes.
Well, if it's not "The Dark Puddles Awaken," which again, first impressions, right? It's what immediately follows, which a voice, a soul. His whole speech that comes from that, and largely because in context, the Ink Demon knows who she is. But it's the idea of toying with her to get her to ideally, not necessarily see the light, but see the dark, and to come to that side of the ink. So I think those two would probably be my favorites.
And then we also got another favorite Bendy question. Favorite Bendy character besides the one you played?
Porter.
Yes, that's a great answer. I love Porter.
Porter. Yeah.
Underrated character. Love him.
Absolutely. And so much fun, and just like, all right, all the other characters are kind of, I don't want to say serious, but they're so, they're not as much fun as Porter for me. Like if I could be another character in the Bendy universe, it would be Porter. So that was
actually the next question.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Look at that. I'm on a roll here. Look at that. I'm too good at this.
And then we got the last 2 questions now.
Last you ready? 2. I'm ready. Let me still myself and prepare. Okay.
All right. We got personal hopes for the future of Bendy as a franchise. What would you want out of that?
Well, I want it to continue to thrive and hopefully get another game or 3 out of the series. I think there's a lot of places to go with it. It's hard to say though. Hopefully maybe it can follow the Cuphead route and break into animation, which I think we could find a pretty fantastic animated series based on the world and lore. But I'm just a voice actor. I don't know what Joey Drew Studios will be doing next series. But yeah, to find out. I mean, really, we're all sort of waiting to see too what comes out of the Meatly next, to see how it goes. So but those would be my hopes, that it definitely continues to grow and thrive and branches out into other forms of media, because it can do it. It's definitely got the lore. So
yeah, I'm excited for everything. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, me too.
Better to Meatly does next.
What happens?
Then the last question: any tips or any tips or advice you want to give to people who want to get into voice acting?
Yes. Well, if you want to get into voice acting, I get asked this a lot, and I have multiple questions for it. Rather, multiple answers for it. But the main thing is to be willing to play, especially if you're looking at character work in games or animation or really any kind of character work. You have to leave the ego and the sense of self-criticism at the door for a moment. Come into the space and play and enjoy it and be open and receptive. It's in the sense of, if you've ever taken an improvisation class, if you've ever done improv, those skills serve you very well in voice acting, in particular, but in life at large, in general, to be able to accept what comes and to understand how to essentially go with the flow. Yes, and so you have to be ready to play, and you have to leave the demons of criticism behind, at least for a moment, because sometimes we criticize ourselves in a way that can be productive, that it pushes us to positive evolution. But other times those demons are an anchor that weigh us down and limit our ability and crush our spirit, quite literally. Mm-hmm. So you want to be able to play and to have fun doing it. So the more you can play, the more open you are, and the more you can tap into those wells of expression and human experience, rather than being so confined and thinking. So that always helps voice talent. So be ready to play. Even for me, like I said, I'm a shy introvert. People don't believe that when they meet me, but it's true. I have to basically make a conscious effort to I call it, I'm turning on. Okay, I'm going to be on now. And then I have to retreat back to the crypt to recharge. But so be willing to play and to grow. And of course, learn as much as you can, find a mentor, and just do it. Just do the things and keep doing the things, and work on that positive progression of getting better as a voice talent. Now, that's the general guru on the mountain answer. But other than that, if we're talking about some technical ideas or something very tangible, it's the idea that voice acting is a business. So you need to consider yourself as essentially an entrepreneur, and you're running your own business, and that's what you'll be entering into. Mm-hmm. So if you don't do that, then you certainly need to find a manager to help you and a way to make it reach whatever your dreams of voice acting are. But you could start now. There's zillions of opportunities now. Even when I started 14 years ago, some of these things weren't available. You can do plenty of voice acting challenges on TikTok and Instagram and even Twitter. There's loads of stuff, casting call club, and all kinds of stuff, just to keep, and workout groups, just to keep improving your skill and to learn more. Even I try to learn more. I try to do at least one workshop from someone else to learn something new every year. I try to. I don't know, I'm not always successful. But even if it's something I already know, it's great to see another perspective, or to add something new to my toolbox, or to think of it differently. So that type of growth and being receptive to more and building your skills is important too. So that whole rambling spiel to say, have fun, learn a lot.
Very amazingly said, Sean. Now we're going to cut to the artist showcase segment, everyone.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm ready.
So
let me put on my peeping spectacles for the artists here. Okay, let's bring it on.
So sit tight, everyone. Hello, everyone. We're back. Now we can actually go over to fan art. Cool. So it says August 20th, which is today.
Inky News Artist Showcase.
And we got Drippy Demon. Little guy. He's ready to drip.
Yo, that's out. A fine drip, yo.
And then we had the Joey Drew quote as per usual.
Just a pencil and a dream.
Yep. I'm so happy about that. Like I'm able to put all these in here and do this. So really quick, thank you everyone for all the support and everything, including the people watching online. It really means a lot to me. All right, now it's Super Aiden. You're up first.
Hello, I'm Super Aiden. I made a picture of the.
Hello, can you hear me?
There he
Yeah, we
is.
can hear you. Hello.
Hello. Oh, it's been a while, hasn't it?
You're kind of muffled, Aiden.
Oh, am I? Crap. Sorry. Excuse me. Oh. Oh, there we go.
Okay, that sounds better.
There we go. Everything good?
You still sound kind of muffled.
Oh, brilliant. Sorry. I'm using one of my other mics and it's not really the best.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but. Oh, man, it's been a while.
Let's see. So Aiden, are you grabbing another mic, or are we just gonna or do you want to just type in chat what you want to say? Sorry.
I think I should. I think it should be here if I stay pretty close.
I'm sorry. What? I can't hear you too well.
Oh.
Sorry about the technical difficulties, guys. Oh yeah, the tech gremlins. They're starting to hit here now.
But see, I must be the common link.
Keep an eye on chat right quick. All right. Let's see.
I love the reaction war going on.
Yeah.
It only gives me a heart. I don't have anything else.
All you can do is love.
Yes. You can love without being in the love stream.
It's true.
Yeah. Aiden, you can do that. Good. So, what I might do, I might just go back to Aiden right quick, so we just get another person in there. Until Aiden joins back, because Aiden's gonna join back on his phone. So we'll go back to Aiden. All right. So Curie Pebble, you're up then. No, you're fine, Aiden.
Yay! Yes, hello. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm excited but nervous, so ignore all this. But for my picture, I decided to draw the ink demon with his ducks. Which, Sean, it is up to you to name these ducks. Since you are the ink demon, it only feels right for you to name the ducks.
Well, the official ducks have been named as Ducky and Quackers. So, but we have 3 here. 3 ducks to name. Ducky,
Yes. 3 little
Quackers.
duckies.
And it looks like there may be, we might have to go with Flappy. Flappy the duck. So we have Ducky. We have Flappy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And we have Quacker.
Oh.
The duck. All right, there we are. There we have it. I've done my part.
But yeah, hold on. I gotta kick Joey off his grave for a hot second. I gotta borrow it real quick. But yes, this picture was done in a day, and what's interesting, all the art that I do, which Sean, I've shown you a couple, with I do it all on my phone with my finger. This is all done. No stylus, no nothing.
Oh my god. That's actually very impressive.
No.
Which I do all my animations that way as well.
Oh my god, that means you did the animation for me, which will be in the outro on the phone. Oh my god,
Yes.
That's amazing.
Magic finger.
Magic finger, yes. But my headcanon for the ducks was that the machine, since in Heavenly Toys and Dark Revival there's a bird, I feel like the ink machine could create animals. So it created ducks. And for bird logic, ducks, no matter, like, if a baby bird, the first thing that it sees becomes their mother. So they saw the ink demon first. So they follow him around. So those are his duckies.
I like this. This checks out with bird law as well.
Yes.
I like it. I like it.
Then I have a funny thing that has happened in Dark Revival, if I may share.
Yeah, you're fine.
What has happened in Dark Revival? When my first time playing, of course, in the server, which Sean, I've told you, that I'm the certified ink demon simp in there. So, I'm sitting here, I'm simping for an ink demon. My dad, he's witnessed this because he was sitting in the living room playing on the Nintendo Switch, and he's like, "What? You want the ink demon to come bite your butt and call you pretty?" And I was like, "Pretty much." A few moments later, not even after I said that, the ink demon spawns. I can't hide in time because I'm panicking, and the way I died, the ink demon bit me.
Oh my god.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. And a lot
Sounds
of people
very
like,
cheeky.
All right, bet. Say less. But he didn't call me pretty. I'm very upset by that.
We'll have to file a complaint.
File a complaint. Yes. Yes. But also, I do have a question. I've asked this to the others. If I were to see you in person, am I allowed to give you a hug?
Can I be touched? Is that it? If I don't have on any of my my cactus spike armor, which is standard issue here in the desert, then yes. Yes, you may.
Yay! Because it's always nice to get someone's permission first before.
I agree. That's right. Consent is important.
Yes, it's for everything.
Absolutely.
Even if wanting to buy somebody something as well. Even if they're like, "No, thank you," and then you end up buying it anyways. That has happened before.
It is true. It is true. We must be respectful of each other and our feelings and desires.
The only thing you did not consent to is me sending you ducks.
That's true. But I have ducks to look forward to pretty much every day. So
yes, you get your daily duck. Oh,
all of the ducks.
Official thanks.
Aww.
I think she melted.
I mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes.
Prophecy has been foretold.
Anyone to sputtery.
Yeah, which I'm shaking. I'm shaking even more. Thanks for that, Sean.
It's
Aiden,
okay.
Aiden, are you ready, by the way, or did you? 'Cause I wanted to go back right quick, if that's all right, to you, so we don't forget, if that's possible. Okay, you ready? All right, Carrie, if you want to say one last thing, you can right quick.
Well, of course, I have to. Sean has to know what my favorite Bendy characters are.
Yeah, true.
Of course.
That's true. That's true.
That's what I meant.
If it wasn't already wasn't obvious for the way I react to the Ink Demon voice.
Ink Demon.
Yes, but along with Betty, Twisted Alice, because I love her design, and who else did I say? I know it's also the Ink Demon, but I can't remember. Oh, and Sammy. Sammy has recently become a new favorite since I have a cosplay of him. So.
Oh, nice.
But.
All right, Aiden, you ready? And thank you, Carrie, by the way.
Hold it.
I got Aiden.
Welcome.
Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, that's good. Woo! There goes those tech gremlins.
Super Aiden.
Hello there, Sean. So, for my piece, just like with Aaron's, I wanted to do something original. And so basically, I just whipped something up real fast. Basically, the Ink Demon pretty much taunting my character there. You can see it's like claws like about to scratch my neck up, which pretty serious about what he does. And another thing is that you also see the original Ink Demon right above that. I wanted to add that as a little nod to the original Bendy, and also Audrey's in there because, well, I couldn't resist adding Audrey.
I love it.
A little touch. I like the original Ink Demon, like you mentioned in the background.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for the original one.
Yeah, both designs are super cool. And
Yeah.
I'm glad you put them both in there because I like them both. You know, the evolved Ink Demon but the original one as well. Because there was something creepy about the original one because he's sort of unassuming with just the his little bendy smile that makes him a little scarier.
Yeah. I will be honest, whenever Dark Revival was coming out, I was like going in with like zero blindness when I first played it back in March. So I had no idea what the new Ink Demon looked like until the trailer came out for when it was coming to console, and I legit have a freak out when I saw him. And then when I played the game, and then I hear his voice, that just got my chills chilling. I was like, "What happened to my soul?" And of
I'm
course,
happy with. Sorry, go ahead.
And I gotta say, your performance on him was spectacular, or inktastic, as Aaron would say.
Thank you.
Anyway, Alvin, we're gonna say.
Oh yeah. I was just saying, I love how I'm kind of jealous to how you stayed away from spoilers for that long when the console version came out. That's such incredible work right there. Incredible work.
Yeah. Woo, you have no idea how hard it was.
Yeah, it sounds really hard, but I'm glad you did it.
Yep. Oh, and should point out too, if you look at the bottom, like right next to my character, you can see the I decided to add a little Easter egg, and I put in Alvin's little character there too. You can just barely see the shadow of him.
Oh, that's cute. On the little bottom, like he's in the background of everything.
Yep, right there.
So cute. Thank you.
And Aaron's, and of course Audrey's in there. Mainly it's a nod to my first interview with Aaron. I just wanted to get her in there somehow.
That's awesome.
This is great. Last but not least, Aiden, who's your favorite Bendy character?
Oh, if you had asked me like 4 years ago, it would have been the Bendy and the Ink Demon. Technically, both now the same character. I used to love them and one single character, but now it's now Audrey, Bendy, and the Ink Demon. Those three are near and dear to my heart. You have my respect.
Well,
you got all the Ink Demon Sims respect.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Oh man, that was That was funny. I always love when that happens.
Thank you, Super Aiden. And
Thanks
now
so
we
much.
can move-
I'm just happy I got those Inky gremlins out of my system.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you got it too. Now we're on the Slime with a Scarf.
Beware the ink demon.
Hello,
Oh.
yes. Can you hear me speaking?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Mhm.
Awesome. This is my magnum opus, my Starry Night, my Mona Lisa, the greatest thing I've ever done. Freddy Fazbear.
It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. So
Thank you. I spent maybe 20 minutes on it.
That's actually not bad.
It came to me in a dream, and I had to wake up at 1 in the morning and make it a reality.
Dedication.
Yes.
It is. It's also eating an entire gallon of chocolate chip ice cream before bed. You know what happens.
That might have had something to do with the creation of this monstrosity.
So take us through it. Take us through the thought process, or the dream, whichever was more prominent.
Let's see here. It's Doc Ock, I guess. That was the main idea. It's Doc Ock, Bendy, with Freddy Fazbear, Poppy Playtime, and Garten of Van, which is a hard title to pronounce with a straight face.
Suitable nightmare fuel, though, brought about, of course, by your dream state. That's appropriate. That's appropriate. Just the horrors of all the latest horror games. Just, yeah. I might have trouble sleeping tonight.
It gives me like vibes of like the old Epic Mickey concept art, like how they combine like a bunch of Disney characters and made it into a monstrosity for concept art. That's what that gave me vibes of when I first saw this.
I can see that. I can see that.
It definitely does look like it, but I can guarantee you I was not thinking about that because I was not thinking.
Felt that.
You let it flow. You let it flow through you. Let the hate flow.
I mean,
through
really,
you.
I can't even say I made it. I think it just kind of showed up one day, and it was on my computer.
Oh, come on.
I think really it spawned itself into existence.
Ooh, the
Oh
lore.
boy.
All right, and Slime, who is your favorite Bendy character out of the ones you know?
I mean, how can I pick? They're all so good. It's the projectionist.
The Projection is such a good character. Love
It's
him.
a good choice. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that the projectionist is their favorite either. But yeah,
It just sounds
I dig
great.
it.
Kind of ironic considering.
All right. Thank you, Slime, for joining us. Now we can move on to the second to last person. So
The show must go on.
the animatic, I will say right quick, in editing and post we'll have audio, but like because of my Mac, like the technical like screen share thing on my Mac, it's kind of weird, and won't have audio here. So, Sketch, you can tell them what it is if you want to, very quick, before we play it.
I just realized I can talk. This is Cotart's Solution by Will Wood and the Tapeworms. It's from the intro to about a minute and 19 seconds into the song. And there's going to be like a blank part that's not the end. The end is where the fade out is.
All right. And don't worry, I will put it in the post so everyone can hear it.
Thank you.
Ready, everyone?
Yes. Wait.
Oh my god. What the hell is going
What if the wind caught up with me? Started to change when I did. Would I blow out like a light?
Great job, Sketch. I love that.
Yeah, that was
Yay.
awesome.
Thank you.
Also, it's just I remember having to constantly remind you to continue doing it.
I know.
Yes.
I'm proud of you, Sketch.
Thank
That's
you.
really good.
That was awesome. I loved it.
Oh, wait.
Thank
and
you.
Who's your favorite Bendy character, Sketch? Right quick.
Oh my. Oh. If it wasn't obvious, Bendy and in part the Ink Demon, because
This is a good answer. I like this answer.
This took me from the boards to finishing it, the final product. It took about 2 weeks, and there was a point where 2 days where I had to stay awake for over 24 hours. One of them was yesterday to bring it home, and I escaped with 2 minutes to spare. This is really...
Impressive.
I'm glad you think so. Thank you. The character means a lot to me in general. I'm not sure if there wasn't really a story in mind. It's like, why not do something cool? Like, I ponder this character and I realize new things about him every day that makes my brain run around, but why not just make something cool for the sake of looking cool? And there we have that. So
Yeah.
Well done, Sketch. Well
Thank you,
done.
Sketch.
thank you.
Amazing work. Now,
Thank you,
last
thank
but
you,
not
thank you.
least, we got Bendy.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yippee! Let's do this. Okay, so obviously on this drawing I did the Ink Demon from Dark Revival because I was like, you know what? Let's draw the front base and then the back, and then on the bottom I have little Alpha Bendy right there because original stuff. February 10th, 2017 is when the alpha for Ink Machine Chapter 1 came out. And sorry if I'm struggling with my speech. I'm trying to figure out the words to say.
You're fine.
On the Ink Demon for Dark Revival, I decided to add like a little bit of smoky effect, even though he doesn't have that in game. I just wanted to add it because cool stuff. And the reason why I also wanted to join in on this interview is because not only is Ink Demon one of my favorite characters, well, no, the name is Bendy, but also I really was thinking, because from the beginning, like, the Ink Demon has always been a thing in Bendy ever since the beginning. It was like the baseline of the game itself. So I was like, you know what? I got to do something at least somewhat. I have to do something good for this.
Yeah.
So,
well, you definitely did do something good. Mm-hmm.
Success.
Yes. I did
And
it.
Sketch, I know you said, not Sketch. Jeez. My mind's all over the place. Bendy. I'm going to guess your favorite Bendy character is Bendy.
Well, if you look at my name.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, along with that, Ink Demon and, the other forms that he takes. But also a couple of other ones. I have to say Audrey, and I'd have to say Wally and Henry as well. Wally.
Love him.
Wally the
Wally,
man.
character.
But yes, that is my drawing right there.
Fantastic.
Sean, what do we rate this one?
I rate it as fantastic.
Beautiful.
Well, that is everyone's art. So I'm going to close it here, everyone. Have a great day. And until the next episode. See you guys.
Woo! That was so awesome. Thanks for having me. Thank you guys.
Thank
You
you.
found that awesome.
Yippee!
The end.